Hi again, everybody. Back for round two. Outdoors here, just chilling. I noticed the last video I moved the chair back because I think I was cutting off a little bit of the bottom of the albums in the last video, so hope I've cured that one. But first one up. The rest of these are all kind of pop and rock albums. The last video was mostly kind of easy listening and country and bluegrass or whatever. These are in alphabetical order. Hi, Charlotte. Average White Band, double live album. Average White Band, or that Scottish kind of funk band, and funky band. Cut the Cake, Pick Up the Pieces, big hits. Okay, a couple AC/DCs. AC/DC High Voltage. Some of these I already have, but I thought they might be in better shape than the ones that I already have. AC/DC Back in Black. Passed through those pretty quickly. Babe Ruth, Amor Caballero. And this is a British import, although it was released over here as well. It's on Harvest. Babe Ruth had about 4 or 5 albums back in the 70s. They weren't hugely successful commercially, but they got some FM play over here. K-Tel album called Blockbuster. 20 original hits and 20 original stars. And the nice thing about these old K-Tel albums, K-Tel was a Canadian company out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. They would always include some Canadian content on here, so if you're into Canadian music of the 70s, you can always find some Canadian rarities on the 70s K-Tel albums. This album is called Blood in the Tracks, or Blood in the Saddle, sorry. And it looks like a, punk cowboy or something. It's from 1984. I guess this kind of alt country, no depression. Looks like a small company pressing. David Bromberg. Now, David Bromberg, I'd seen his albums around for years and years, but I'd never really listened to him. I think it was Marty was playing some David Bromberg on one of his videos, and I thought it was really good, so I picked up this album and a later album, David Bromberg, My Own House. Or on Columbia. Or sorry, this one's on Fantasy. The other one was on Columbia. I picked this up just for the cover. It's Cher. This album was on Casablanca. Came out kind of in the late disco area, late 70s. 1979. And I don't recall what it sounds like, but the cover is just really funny. Stanley Clarke, I Want to Play For You, double album. It has all of the famous jazz artists of the day guesting on this with him. Reverend Gary Davis, Children of Zion, Reverend Gary Davis in concert. Diesel, What's in a Tank. Diesel were a Dutch band and they had kind of a hit with Sausalito Summer Night. This is a band I know nothing about. It's the Euro Gliders, and it's called This Island, and I believe they're Australian. I bought this for the cover. The Evidence, by Evidence. I think it's a German disco album, late 70s. It's on Philips. This is a British album, although it's in a North American pressing. British group. It's called Fresh Out of Borstal, and it's conceived and produced by Simon Napier Bell. 1970. Know nothing about it. I do know about this. Marianne Faithfull. I think this is one of her albums that I didn't have. It's called A Child's Adventure. Another British artist from the 60s called David Garrick. It's called Blow Up Live. It's on the Pie label. This is a Canadian pressing. It's live recordings. He does a lot of covers of hits of the 60s, like River Deep Mountain High, The Kinks' Dandy, or Ray Davies' Dandy, C.C. Ryder, Nina Hagen, Fearless. 1983. Herbie Hancock, Sunlight. Woody Harris, After Dinner Mints. I picked this up because it's on Kicking Mule Records, and it's kind of instrumental guitar, folk guitar, kind of in the maybe in the vein of somebody like John Fahey. Canadian classic rock from the 80s. It's the Headpins with lead vocalist Darby Mills. The last one in this set, Jake Holmes. This is on Polygram, or Polydor. This is 1969. Now Jake Holmes, he's famous for writing Dazed and Confused, covered by Led Zeppelin on the first Zeppelin album. I think the Yardbirds were toured with Jake Holmes, 1968 perhaps, and which kind of, or 1967, gave Jimmy Page the idea for covering Dazed and Confused. Thanks for watching.